We don't just inherit things such as eye colour, but what we also have is something called mirror neurons. We've all got mirror neurons, and what they will do is allow us to mimic the posture, the mannerisms, the facial expressions that people create, the way somebody walks, their breathing. All of those patterns we absorb. Hello and welcome back. Now, just before we get started, if you're watching this on the Total Somatics YouTube channel, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and press the notification bell. So whenever I release an episode, you find out very quickly. Now, today, what I'd like to do is uncover the hidden patterns that are passed down through the generations within our families. And this isn't just emotional patterns that are followed down through the generations, but physical patterns. Because your family's posture, their biomechanics, that's living in your soma. It's incredible, isn't it? Absolutely incredible. We have at least there's lots of science now talking about we have like 3 generations that we've had passed down so far, but there's so much more. There's many more books on that side of things within genetics. So it's absolutely fascinating. But in this situation today, let us focus here, because we don't just inherit things such as eye colour, but what we also have is something called mirror neurons. We've all got mirror neurons, and what they will do is allow us to mimic the posture, the mannerisms, the facial expressions that people create, the way somebody walks, their breathing. All of those patterns we absorb. And I love talking to people here in clinic actually about mirror neurons. And I was only talking to somebody this week, and I was just saying how we pick up so much. And I was saying that's part of our empathy, is as a baby, we start to mirror and connect, and we copy people. So, when you poke your tongue out at a baby and they poke their tongue out to you, and that's where they're starting to mimic those behaviors. It's absolutely incredible what happens with mirror neurons. And again, this is whereby the way that somebody walks is often picked up in those very early years from those important people around them, their caregivers, their parents. And I often think this, if I'm sitting in the car at the service station and my husband's fueled up the car and he's walking across to pay for the petrol, I'm watching him walk and I think, wow, we live in Australia now and his parents are in England. They are 10,000 miles away. And yet when I look at his walk, he walks just like his dad. And that's the behavior from mirror neurons. He's picked those mannerisms up over the years. Likewise, I just want to share with you how these mirror neurons, we're going to talk about the hidden patterns that show up, but it's not always a negative thing. I actually love to see how they show up. For example, it's almost like a souvenir from previous generations. For instance, I want to share with you about my dad. My dad would have this way. He would walk with his hands behind his back. And as he would walk with his hands behind his back, it was basically just became part of who he was. And as he would walk like this, obviously as children, we picked up that behavior. Because in recent times, I've been to visit my family in the UK, and I was walking along at I can't remember where it was exactly, but I was walking with my older brother, and we were walking along somewhere. And then I realized at that point that the two of us were walking with our hands behind our back. We were doing just what my dad would always do. And interestingly enough, I was discussing this with my family recently about mirror neurons and how then my other brother, his children, they walk now with their hands behind their back because they saw their grandpa doing that for so many years. So now I have a great nephew, and it will be interesting to see if he still picks up from other members of the family these hands behind the back habit. So although my dad may not be with us anymore, he's left us this beautiful mannerism that we can all continue following through the generations. These little hidden patterns, they've all got very special, precious, cherished stories to them. So again, can you see where they are living in our soma? We've picked so many subconscious brain patterning techniques up over the years. That becomes part of who we are. And also like our own little family, we can see those little mannerisms there. But if we consider today the aspect of mirror neurons, but how it might not be such a great souvenir, and there can be other things that can be impacting us as a result. And let's consider now with mirror neurons and the way that we walk or the way we stand, how we breathe. But let us now combine that with the stress response. Now, that stress response and that behavior can also be passed down through genetics. And we know through the science of epigenetics that we can basically switch genes on or off according to our lifestyle. So we may be told that we've got a predisposition to a particular sickness or ailment, but we have that capacity to switch those genes on and off according to our lifestyle choices. So really we can see now why it is no surprise why so many issues are passed down through the generations. You know, it could be shoulder issues, hip problems, knee issues. And again, I've had many times over the years, like an adult parent coming in and they've had a hip operation, they've had a lot of hip issues. And then they might have a daughter that comes in and they say things like, I don't want to have the hip problem that my mum had. But you can already see how they stand or how they walk. It's identical to their mother. So that's why then what I do is I say, look, there's great news. There is something we can do here. And I'm saying the same to you now. There is something we can do here. We can be a circuit breaker. We can break those unhealthy patterns of movement and posture, balance, all these sorts of things. We can shift that so that we can break that pattern that's been probably through another generation before then, to prevent us from getting to that point where we've got a hip issue that we could have addressed by changing our biomechanics. And this is where clinical somatic movement will provide the tools for you to literally unwind these patterns of tension and tightness. And you can do this by bringing conscious awareness to basically what at this point has been unconscious or subconscious brain patterning techniques and behaviors. And you remember, I've worked since 2001 in clinical practice. And so in that time, I've worked with so many people in clinical practice that these techniques are the most fantastic way to create lasting results. You know, many, many years on from here, people are saying how it's shifted and it's changed their life. And it can also change your family health now and for the future by breaking. Remember, be a circuit breaker. We can break some of those hidden patterns that have passed through the generations, which up until now have not been serving us well. Hip issues, shoulder issues, knee problems, all of these issues we can shift, we can change. But if you really want to delve deeper into this and understand the real nuance of what's happening with your nervous system, your muscular system, the state of your nervous system generally, and then unwinding these patterns of tension, I'd encourage you that if you can, come and join me in the Total Somatics online membership. This is where we really will go deep into specifics. I'm there to support you and tailor what you need to deal with from the situations that you encounter, the health conditions that you have. So if you go to totalsomatics.com, if you click on the Join Now page, you have the opportunity to leave your details there. And when I open the membership doors, you will be the very first to find out, and then you can come and join me within the membership. I only open the membership every now and again because my focus is to really be attentive to everybody within the membership. And so that's what we're doing, is we're wanting to get those results, those really good health outcomes. And again, I'm there very attentive, supporting those people within the membership. And I would love you to join me and all the beautiful people around the world in the Total Somatics membership. So that's totalsomatics.com. Click on the Join Now page and then come and join me and all my beautiful friends around the world that are in the community, and we can really make changes on a long-term healthy basis for you and also for future generations too. Okay, so I'm going to see you all soon. I'm going to send you all my love and all my very best wishes. Have a wonderful day wherever you are in the world, and take care. I'll see you soon. Bye.
Thank you for joining me today. If you've enjoyed this episode, please leave a rating and also forward this on to somebody you know will benefit. To learn more about pain relief, plus how to improve your health and well-being, go to totalsomatics.com. Until next time, take care.